40 kilowatts. So this video is strictly to show you how to polarate 2 units or more of the CWT inverter to achieve a single phase output and increase the capacity to become double of whatever each of the inverter is. So the first thing you will do is you first of all connect all the input. Your input of this inverter will be connected to the input of the second inverter. Then you take it to your input breaker or wherever source your input is coming from. You do the same thing. Your output of inverter 1 will be connected to the output of inverter 2. So it means positive of this output to the positive. Yeah, that's live to live, neutral to neutral, and you take it on your output breaker. After doing that, is another thing you do is to make sure that the both inverters are taking their power from the same battery bank. We are using a battery combiner box here. You can see that this inverter, the positive is here. This inverter, the positive is here. This one, the negative is up. This one, the negative is up, and our inverter positive is down here on that same line, on the same bar, the bus bar with the positive of the inverter. Same thing is for the neutral. Once you have done all of these connections properly, you put on your battery. The next thing you do is you put on one inverter, go to the settings on program 20, where it's written PAL, which is parallel. You would switch that. It's usually the default is usually SIG, which is single. So you switch that to PAL. Once you do that, you go back. You can now put off your inverter. You put on the second inverter so as to change the setting to. So we'll go to this inverter to the setting, and we'll go to program 20, and we'll switch this from SIG, which is single, to PAL, and we'll enter. Then we'll exit. Once we do that, the next thing we are going to do is to connect our communication cables and connector. The CWT inverter comes with this connector. Is a parallel connector. Under the inverter here, there's a port. There's a port here for the parallel connection. You will put this particular connector, this CWT inverter parallel connector, on the first port of your the first inverter. So you'll be left with the second port. The second port, you introduce the communication cable that comes into the inverter. You slot this here. So when you go to the next inverter, on the first port, what you introduce on your first port will be the communication cable will now be on the first port, and you now close it with this communication connector on the second port. So with that, these two inverters will be communicating with each other. So we'll put on the first one. We want this to be our master, so we'll put this on first, so it picks itself and becomes master. We'll put this on too. If the communication is done properly, you'll see the first inverter you put on will be indicating the sign of letter M inside, which means the master. It has picked to become the master. The next inverter will be indicating slave. So whatever program you do on this inverter now will automatically reflect on this inverter. So that's how you'll be able to communicate 2 or more of the CWT inverter. And this connection, this particular one, is to achieve single phase output. If you have 3 inverters, there's a way you can also connect to achieve 3-phase output. Thank you very much.